Alrighty, so first day back since my last video. Actually, I'll go ahead and put these in here because I don't need them. I'm starting to notice that one of these doesn't sound as clear, and it's the one in the right, and I don't know if that's because it has any kind of buildup or if it's just not as strong as the other one. I don't know. Maybe they're not as sweat resistant as I was thinking they might be. Either way, so didn't exercise for, gosh, what was it, like 4 days, something like that? Because I live in Texas, and Texas got completely snowed. I still had water trickling, so we were able to like slowly fill pots and boil the water for certain things, but there was not enough water pressure to take a shower, and filling a bathtub took up way too long. So really just kind of toweled myself. So I wasn't able to really exercise the way I'd want because I wasn't confident that I'd be able to get completely clean. So took a couple of days off from exercising. So that's that. I'm already up to 50 minutes. I did 20 minutes earlier, then I had to get off, and I got back on to the so now I'm up to 50. So I've already done more than an hour. Just gonna finish out this video and do whatever. Let's see. I started watching, I don't know if I was saying anything about this before. I don't remember the last thing I talked about, but I started watching The Ancient Magnus's Bride. And Maid Sama, and there's a new one that I'm starting to watch, but I don't remember the name of it. Oh, then also High Score Girl. High Score Girl annoyed me. I didn't like it. I didn't like its writing. It did have one moment that made me laugh, but the rest of it was kind of obnoxious. Had basically like an obnoxious one-note character that I didn't really care for. Maid Sama was fine with the premise, but after not the halfway point, but after like episode 10, I don't know, I didn't get the point of the show anymore. And it was just kind of, I don't know, they were just like, oh, what can happen here? What can we make happen? And like, there's no character development. It's just things happening that are completely unconnected, completely disjointed, and they're just random things. So I kind of don't care about that one anymore. The voice acting is still subpar. The editing is okay, and there were a few points that made me laugh. But overall, completely uninteresting show as of right now. And it's like 26 episodes, so I think I'm at like episode 13, 14, like halfway, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do the whole thing. It's really not interesting. So unless I know that it gets interesting, I'll probably, if anything, I'll probably just skip episodes. I'm like, not interested in this, skip, next one, whatever. Considering now I know that they're episodic and completely disjointed. But The Ancient Magnus's Bride, watched the whole thing. I actually like the show. I have a few gripes with it, but overall, I actually think it was really good. It's another one of those that it feels like a different show halfway through. And then the second half feels completely different. Not completely different, but I didn't like the second half as much as I liked the first half. And what's really weird is on most platforms, it's 24 episodes are known as one season or one series, or whatever you say. In America, we say season, and everywhere else, just like measurements, everywhere else says series, which actually makes more sense. But I'm just used to saying season. But on other platforms, the first 12 episodes are known as one series, and the second half is known as another series. But on other platforms, it's all one series. I don't know. I don't know which one's which. But if it was supposed to be two series, 12 episodes at a time, that would make more sense. That explains a lot. It also has a different intro halfway through, so yeah, that makes sense. I liked Elias as a character better than Shisei. Shisei was kind of annoying because most of her dialogue, and I would say about a third of it, was just repeating the last few words back to the person who said something. And it was just kind of obnoxious. And she pretty much stays like that all the way through till the end. She pretty much stays the same person till the very end, till like the last 3 or 4 episodes of the entire series. So she has the least character development. I think the priest has more character development than she does. It's kind of a joke, but it's not entirely. Him, however, Elias, has a lot more character development. You find out a lot more about him. He's far more interesting. His personality makes more sense. The magic seemed inconsistent as far as who could do what and what they needed to do what. It's just like, oh, we just need someone to do this thing just out of a hat. Just all of a sudden just have this ability. Well, someone new is just going to walk in and they're just going to have that ability. And so I kind of wish it was a little bit more consistent as far as who could do what and what hurts who and what works against what. But if I had to sum up the show, it would be Beauty and the Beast meets Harry Potter. That's probably the best analogy I can come up with. I will say this, even though I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 for the whole thing, it's probably one of the few shows that I've ever seen that made me somewhat interested in reading the manga or whatever. I'm normally not interested in that kind of stuff, but this show, I was like, you know what, I actually might look up to see where this goes next. I may do that. I'm not normally a manga or a comic book or, whatever have you reader, but that was like the one that made me somewhat interested. Also, here's something that was kind of sneaky and kind of didn't like, is that supposedly there was like a trailer for a season 3 or a season 2, depending on how you look at it. That was supposed to be her in the basically Hogwarts. It's like the alchemist and wizarding school, or college or whatever, university. And so then it's supposed to be all of those years of her learning magic there. And they did like an animated trailer for it years after the show was, supposedly over. And what's really kind of like weird about it is that they're not animating another season or series. That was just like marketing for the rest of the manga. So it was kind of like, I don't know, I didn't like that tactic because it's kind of like, I don't know, it gets people like who are actually wanting more of an anime and then end up just getting, it's like, oh, we'll go read the book. Which I'm not a fan of reading the manga. I do not care normally, mostly just because it feels like DLC. It really just feels like that. It feels like, oh, you want to enjoy this in its entirety? Well, you got to buy all of this and you got to do all these things. Thanks, EA and Ubisoft or whoever else is notorious for that. So that's normally why I don't. But that's it. Actually, you know what? I can look up on my iPad right here what show it was. I can't see it from here. I can see it from here. There we go. I cannot see what it was. I can't see what it was. I'll talk about it next time when I actually have the name of the show memorized. I have it in front of me, but it's in Japanese, so I'm not doing that. I do kind of want to learn Japanese. 3 languages that I want to learn: Japanese, Spanish, and sign language. I know a little bit of sign language, a little bit of Spanish, not really any Japanese. Those are just the 3. I was like, if I was to learn any other, those would be the ones. But anyway, getting close to an hour, so it's going to be an hour 20. Let's see, what else? I know a lot of people in Texas were losing power, and didn't have water. I know a couple friends that I'm actually very worried about because they live in smaller cities, smaller towns. that don't have larger infrastructure like Austin does. Like, we never lost power, so I was able to keep doing voiceover and all that kind of stuff, no problem. Had heating, totally fine. Even when it got down to like, I think it got to 8 or 9 degrees at night. That was when it was like snowing heavy, so much that no one could leave the house. We couldn't leave the apartment for a while. Today and yesterday was like the first time we're actually able to drive, and there's still quite a good bit of snow and ice and some slickness on some of the roads, but it's manageable as long as you drive carefully, you know, and about 10 miles under the speed limit. So, but there was a lot of people that lost power. I have a friend who now has pneumonia because they lost power and water, and she was already not very healthy, not a very healthy person, going through dialysis and stuff like that. And she's in the hospital right now, so I'm very worried about her. Yeah, that's it. And there we go. So about 700 calories, hour 20. Thing smells like ass, burnt ass. So good. Yeah, it's gonna be it. Take a shower, and then I guess I'll be back to it now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.